So today's message is going to be a brief reflection on not giving up and on not quitting. Now, I think we could all agree that life is hard. For those of us who are less forward-thinking and or less optimistic, life is hard and then you die. For all of us, life is, and you can fill in the blank with whatever you want, something, and then we die. Filling in that blank makes all the difference. Filling in that blank is simply living our lives. It's what we do from the time we exit the birth canal till the time we get the message in our inbox to turn in the credit card and return home. Filling in that blank is what we all have to figure out. Now, some of us have been blessed enough to have inaugurated purposeful, meaningful occupations that benefit and please ourselves as well as others. Others are filling in the blanks more begrudgingly and flailing about looking for an escape. And sadly, there are hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people whose whole lives are merely a blank stare and who would find it very easy to describe their situation as hopeless. And I get this image a lot because the first time I went to Jamaica, this was years ago, I stayed at a nice resort. And then one day we took a drive from Montego Bay to Negril. And all along the way, we drove by these windy, curvy roads. I was scared to death because I was afraid a cow would jump out at me at any time. But the thing that impressed me the most and saddened me the most is on our way from one resort to another, we just saw masses of people in groups with nothing to do, with like blank stares on their face, with faces with just nothing to do. And it just bothered me a lot because here I am, I'm going down there having a good time at a resort, and I don't know how many resorts on that island, but with all that wealth and people coming in, there's still so much that people that live there need. And I just felt like, people were being exploited and not getting the fair share of their resources. And that's still going on today. So no matter what, regardless of where we landed on this planet or under what conditions, we all have a blank to fill. We can fill it with hope, faith, and love, commitment, compassion, and rewarding occupations, or we can fill our blanks with sadness, despair, depression, longing, or regret. Currently, the world's collective blank space, the life that we're all living, is a collective mess that gives me a big headache. And I'm not going to reiterate all my concerns, which are the ones that we share today and every week. What I will say, though, is that the willful, flagrant, and openly abhorrent behavior of many of my fill-in-the-blank companions is extremely disturbing and frightening. The world has a morals and values problem. And it's always had a morals and values problem, which ironically has kept a lot of churches in business. But lately, considering the major existential threat to our planet because of climate changes, genocidal wars, outright hate and bigotry, it seems to me like we're reaching a tipping point. And I constantly have to remind myself that anything that happens to any other human in the world can also happen to me. Bombs could be attacking our country like elsewhere. A tornado or an earthquake could happen anywhere and upend our lives. We are not immune to disease or dictators. But with all that, you know what else the world has? It has us. With all our flaws, failings, foibles, and foot and mouths, we have each other and we have the opportunity to live creatively and lovingly. The world is full of people of faith who are filling their blanks the best way they can and to try to make the world a better place. Folks are filling in their blanks with many acts of kindness and generosity. Folks are also discovering that a little goes a long way. A phone call, a postcard, an unguarded, authentic conversation can have a major impact on our collective psyche and can help in the healing we so desperately need. Love, generosity, and compassion are never out of season. So I'd like to share a short story with you that I discovered in a Richard Rohr article. So this was written by an Arab-American poet named Naomi Shihab Nye. So she recalls a transformative, unexpected occasion of generous acceptance. Wandering around the Albuquerque airport terminal, I heard an announcement. If anyone in the vicinity of gate A4 understands any Arabic, please come to the gate immediately. Well, one pauses these days. Gate A4 was my own gate. I went there. An older woman in full traditional Palestinian embroidered dress, just like my grandma wore, was crumpled to the floor, wailing loudly. "Help!" said the flight service person. "Talk to her. We told her the flight was going to be late, and she did this." I stooped to put my arm around the woman and spoke to her haltingly, and forgive my Arabic. "Shudoa, shubit uk, habiti, stani shwe, min fadlik, shubit siwi." The minute she heard any words she knew, however poorly used, she stopped crying. She thought the flight had been canceled entirely. She needed to be in El Paso for major medical treatment. I said, "No, we're fine. You'll get there. Just later, who is picking you up?" "Let's call him." We called her son, and I spoke with him in English. I told him I would stay with his mother and would ride next to her. She talked to him. Then we called her other sons just for the fun of it. Then we called her dad, and he spoke, and she spoke for a while in Arabic, and found out, of course, that they had 10 shared friends. Then I thought, why not call some Palestinian poets? I know some Palestinian poets I know, and let them chat with her. This all took about 2 hours. She was laughing a lot by then, telling about her life, patting my knee, answering questions. She had pulled a sack of homemade mamul cookies, little powdered sugar crumbly mounds stuffed with dates and fruits, out of her bag, and was offering them to all the women at the gate. To my amazement, not a single woman declined one. It was like a sacrament. The traveler from Argentina, the mom from California, the lovely woman from Laredo, we were all covered with the same powdered sugar and smiling. There was no better cookie. And then the airline broke out free beverages, and 2 little girls from our flight ran around serving us all apple juice, and they were covered with powdered sugar too. And I noticed my new best friend. By now, we're holding hands. She had a potted plant poking out of her bag, some medicinal thing with green fairy leaves. Such an old country traveling tradition. Always carry a plant, always stay rooted to somewhere. And I looked around that gate of late and weary ones and thought, this is the world I want to live in, the shared world. Not a single person in that gate, once the crying of confusion stopped, seemed apprehensive about any other person. They took the cookies. I wanted to hug all those other women too. This can still happen anywhere. Not everything is lost. Not everything is lost, especially if we don't give up, if we don't give in. These are challenging times for everyone. But we were made for this. So we always need to remember who we are, what we're capable of accomplishing, and the power of faith, hope, and love. So once more, I'm going to summarize what Paul says to us in the last chapter of Galatians. Live creatively, friends. And I think the subtext for most of our lives is freedom. We all want the freedom to be who we were meant to be, or at least have the opportunity to figure out who we are without being marginalized for some reason. What is more freeing than living creatively and unselfishly? We've been given a roadmap from Paul, and we've also been given an example of the life of Jesus. Lent began on Valentine's Day this year. What a treat and what a better reminder to enter this period of reflection on the day we celebrate love. Could there be a better theme for what ails us? Let us not give up on love. Let us not give up on love this year. Let's double down on extending love to everyone and everything in our blank spaces. We've got work to do, whether we want to or not. We have our church to tend to, but more importantly, we have to tend to each other. Life is hard, but working together, it can be heaven. So if you're compelled to give up something this year, my suggestion would be to give up hypocrisy. It's very easy to become the thing that we abhor the most. Let's try not to be hypocritical and make room for being authentic, loving, and bearers of the light. Authentic, loving, bearers of the light. Let's think about that for a second. If you were to give up hypocrisy for Lent or forever and say yes to authenticity, what would that mean for you? Just take a second to think about that. If you were to give up hypocrisy and focused on saying yes to authenticity, what would that mean to you? And if you feel inclined to say a word or two about that, feel free to do so. Now, I'll just add that for me, I would have to remember that love is not circumstance dependent. By that I mean, I have to remember that I can love my fellow brothers or sisters, also known as playmates from God, even though I might disagree with them vehemently. I could still love my brothers and sisters, even though I disagree with them vehemently. All right, so let's not allow ourselves to get fatigued doing good. That's a good thing. At the right time, we will harvest a good crop if we don't give up or quit. Right now, therefore, every time we get the chance, let us work for the benefit of all, starting with the people closest to us in the community of faith. And ain't that good news? I got a rope up into the kingdom, ain't that good news? I gotta robe up into the kingdom, ain't it that good news? I'm gonna lay down this world, gonna shoulder up my cross, gonna take it home to my Jesus, ain't it that good news? Well, I gotta harp down into the kingdom, ain't it that good news? I gotta harp up into the kingdom, ain't it that good news? I'm gonna lay down this world, gonna shoulder up my cross, gonna take it home to my Jesus, ain't it that good news? I got slippers in that kingdom, ain't it that good news? I got slippers in the kingdom, ain't it that good news? I'm gonna lay down this world, I'm gonna shoulder up my cross, I'm gonna take it home to my Jesus, ain't it that good news? And guess what? I got you down in the kingdom, ain't it that good news? I got me up in the kingdom, ain't it that good news? I'm gonna lay down this world, gonna shoulder up my cross, gonna take it home to my Jesus. I'm gonna take it home to my Jesus. I'm gonna take it home to my Jesus. I'm gonna take it home to my Jesus. Ain't it that good news? Amen.